Hey guys, so I am going to be repotting some of my plants that I have. I'm obviously in my closet right now because my husband and kids are home. It's the weekend, so I'm just trying to find a quiet place to film this video. But I want to get my white knight philodendron repotted and on a moss pole. I know I said I don't really like the look of moss poles that much. But I discovered these clear, where did I do with it? Oh, here it is. These clear moss poles. I didn't know that these existed, so I'm going to be using some of these as a moss pole. And plus, I don't know what kind of soil is in this store mix soil, but I'm going to be transferring this into some of my soil. And then we have my Albo Adansonii that I got. I got this plant and this Sigonium tricolor at the same time. I believe I got them last Tuesday. They are rooted cuttings. They are very much rooted. Let me get close so you can see this roots on these. I don't know if you can see all these roots, but they are both fully rooted and definitely need a upsized pot for sure. So I'm going to be putting this one in a pot on a moss pole, and then I'm just going to be sticking this in a regular standard pot that I have. And then I found these clear pots. I think this is a 4-inch orchid pot, so it has a bunch of these little holes in them, which is great for airflow, and comes with these little saucer trays too. I thought these were super cute with a clear moss pole. I think that will look good. And then I got the 4-inch, and then I also got these 7-inch ones too, which is obviously a lot bigger than the 4-inch. So I'm kind of debating whether I want to put my Sigonium in one of these pots. There's a lot of air holes, so I'm still kind of debating whether I want to put them in an orchid pot or not. But yeah, I will figure that out as I go along. But for now, I have some of my sphagnum moss. Just some long fiber sphagnum moss soaking in water right now. Because like I said, I'm going to be putting a moss pole on 2 of my plants. So I want to get some of this sphagnum moss rehydrated. Let's start off with the Albo Adansonii because I know what pot I want to put this one in. And it's definitely going to be the 4-inch pot. Yeah, it's going to be this 4-inch pot. Which side is down? I'm going to make this one educated guess. That one's going up. So I'm going to wring out some of this sphagnum moss, get some of this excess water out of it. I don't want it too soggy. And then I'm going to lightly fill this moss pole. What I mean by lightly is like I don't want to compact this sphagnum moss too much. I want it to be fluffy and airy still. I kind of wanted to do this when I first got these rooted cuttings on Tuesday, but I don't know. I kind of felt like they needed to acclimate a little bit. I wanted to give them at least a couple of days to a week to acclimate to, my house, my conditions. So I didn't, so at least I would lessen the chances of shocking these plants. Okay, so I don't want to overfill this either. And I want to leave some room at the bottom to put my potting soil in. So let me see where we're at. I think that's good. I think that's good. I know, sorry, my voice is kind of in and out. I've had a rough weekend, so yeah, I thought doing some repots and playing and messing with my plants might put me in a better mood. I like messing with plants. So here, oh, get your butt out the way. So here is my soil. I'm just gonna mix this stuff up. This is just my orchid bark mix. I put some perlite in here, and I'm not sure if I have two potting mixes. I'm not sure if this one is the one with a handful or two of compost. It doesn't look like it. So I think this one is just orchid bark and perlite. I would recommend putting some, I got a bag of orchid mix that was just orchid bark and nothing else, no additives to it. That was the only thing that my store had at the time, but I usually get the ones where it has like some charcoal, maybe a little bit of sphagnum mixed in, some lava rock, just a bunch of little goodies mixed in with it. But since this is all I had at the store, this is what I'm working with. This is my first time doing one of these moss poles, so you and I are learning together. Definitely learning together. So basically what I'm trying to say is I am not experienced in I'm experienced a little bit in plants, but I have no experience in moss poles. I'm just kind of making these videos to just kind of have like a little diary vlog for myself, and just to kind of like, I don't know, take you guys along the way with me as you're watching me become a plant addict. So welcome. But I'm definitely not a pro whatsoever. Okay, now I'm going to get my pot. I'm going to get the tray so I don't make that big of a mess. And I'm going to attempt, I should probably get a little scooper. Wait, I should probably put it this way first. Yeah, and then backfill. That makes sense. It's definitely harder than it looks. So I'm just going to put a little layer at the bottom of this. And I can already tell that these pots are going to be super messy. Maybe if you keep them moist, it won't be so messy. But once they kind of dry out, I can see this pot creating a little bit of a mess. But that's okay. So here is my little Adansonii. I put the saran wrap on this plant because it is rooting in sphagnum moss. It was under humidity. I had it under a humidifier, but I didn't want to put it in my propagation box because it was a little bit too tall. So I improvised and just got some saran wrap, put it on top of this to help keep and retain some of that moisture. And I did leave a little bit for some airflow, so it wasn't completely enclosed. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to see how attached these roots are to the sphagnum. If they are completely attached, I might just try to leave. I'm going to have to leave some of the sphagnum, but if not, I will take some of it out. But I'm not going to damage the roots trying to get this out in any way. Broke the cup. I broke the cup. That is okay. It's like in there. I might just have to completely rip this cup apart. This is like a hard plastic, and these roots do not want to come out. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm going to move you guys a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better with what I'm doing. My head might be cut off, but that's okay. So what do you guys think? Would you guys leave this sphagnum moss, or would you try to take all of it off? Now these roots are completely intertwined with this moss, so we are going to leave it because there's roots all in this moss. I don't want to damage any roots trying to get this out. So I'm going to put my little sphagnum plug, I guess you can call it, in the front as much as possible because I want to add this pole. Maybe if I just rest it in here like that and then try to backfill. Okay, I think that looks better. I'm just going to backfill this pot. Oh my gosh, this pot is so messy. And this pot is just so small and my mix is so chunky, it's hard getting these little pockets filled. You go around the back just to kind of support this pole a little bit more. After this, after these repottings, I am definitely going to start looking into a mat because I'm making too big of a freaking mess with these plants. So definitely need a plant mat so I don't have to spend 20 to 30 minutes cleaning up after myself. Okay. This is what it's looking like so far. I don't feel comfortable completely covering up this little node into the soil since it wasn't in the soil, it was sitting on top. I have this saran wrap on top to help keep in some of that moisture. But since these pots are so small, I still wanted to leave a little vent hole so it didn't rot on me. And in this one, should I go straight for the big pot, the 7-incher? No, that's way too big. I don't know, what do you think? No. I feel like that is way too big, but I feel like this is the same size. Yeah, this is like the exact same size. What to do? This one isn't too bad. It's only like an inch or two in diameter bigger than this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the big one. Let me get a little tray to help with the mess, even though I've already created a huge mess. I'm going to backfill this one. To about right there. And let's see what this one is looking like. Okay, the moss is coming off of these roots a lot easier than that monstera. Just get as much of that off as I can. Okay, I think that is as much as I'm going to get off. So I'm going to set these roots down in here. Make sure she's in the center, and then I'm going to backfill. I'm very interested to see how this plant does in this type of pot. Hopefully it does good. Again, I've never used these pots before, so I'm not sure how any of this is going to go. Hopefully not bad. I mean, a pot with holes in it can't be a bad thing, right? It just adds a little bit more aeration to the soil, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. So I'm just filling this up until I get to where the sphagnum was sitting on this plant originally. I don't want to over plant her. Give her a good little tap. Make sure, I don't know, air pockets. I grabbed another one of these moss poles for moss. It comes with this like clear plastic cover on it. so you got to make sure you take that off. It's a little bit annoying, but I guess it's protecting these from getting all scratched up, which is a good thing. And then it has these little pre-indented lines to guide you on where to do your creases. So I'm just going to follow those and bend it. And do this side. Definitely using the 7-inch pot on this philodendron. So, and its cute little saucer. I think this is just the cutest little things. Who's super excited about a planter? Strange, I know. I'm a weirdo. Okay, so I'm going to just set this down, and then I'm going to start filling this with some moss as well. Try to get some of that moisture out of it. And I do know that once this plant, well, I don't know, it'll probably take a while. It's still kind of small. I shouldn't have to put an extension on this pot for a while. I do know for the Adansonii, I'm going to have to, because there's no way that tiny little pot is going to hold the weight of that moss pole. So whenever I have to extend that moss pole, I know I'm going to have to also put this in a bigger pot for sure, because I think those little 4-inch pots are only going to hold one moss pole at a time. But I will think about that once I get there. So I'm going to go ahead and snap these little things closed. The white knight is unfurling 2 leaves right now, which is like, I know it's not the best time to repot that plant, but at the same time, I'm super nervous when it comes to watering it, because I don't know anything about that soil. So it just makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to create root rot or anything like that. So I would usually wait to repot a plant like that, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it so I don't completely kill it off before it even gets a chance to start. Now I'm just going to grab this empty container and pull this one out. And I've recently discovered by pulling on the base that it does have a nursery pot. So luckily I discovered that once I watered this plant. I felt it and took it out and drained all the excess water out. So that was good to know. I thought it was just in that pot without any drain holes. Let's see how easy this is to get out. Okay. Looks like, I don't know, this is like some super fine, is it just cocoa coir? Like milled up, really feels like, it seriously looks like coffee grounds. Yeah, I don't know anything about this type of soil, so I feel good about getting this potted up into some fresh aeroid soil, as much of this stuff out as I can. And there's also little tiny babies in here, so I don't want to, I know I'm going to have to leave behind some of this soil. Not being rough, I'm just gently kind of caressing, I guess you could say, this plant to release some of this yucky soil off of it. It almost smells like cedar. Like it has a cedar scent to it. Is that a root? I mean, the roots are still white, so I don't see any type of
rot going on. Hopefully not. I know I'm gonna damage some of these roots, so I hate doing this. Makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. It almost feels like there's a plug all the way up here. I don't know if it's just a really tight root ball, but it is like a dense feeling, spongy plug. I think it's just the root ball, like a really dense ball of roots right there. Because it kind of feels like I'm brushing out tangles, so I don't want to do that too much. Okay, this is about as comfortable as I am. Get it kind of stabilized in there. Okay, now I'm going to pull up this big boy in its pot, trying to figure out which side I want facing the back. I think this side, because it kind of has like a little spot that's open that looks like it would fit in. And then once these start pushing off some new growth and the stems get a little bit longer, I can kind of start bending them back towards the pole and anchoring them on to support them, because right now there's two in here and one's kind of starting to one is bumped up right against the moss pole and the other one's kind of shooting out the other way. But once it gets some new growth and it's nice and soft and pliable, the stem, I'm going to gently start directing it back this way, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to give it a couple taps, try to get everything settled in. Okay, I'm going to locate these tiny little babies and try to uncover them in case they're covered up. Then I'm going to finish filling up my moss pole. Looks better. See her little new growth pushing out here and pushing out right here. I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and water these guys off of camera. I'm just going to water them with my rainwater, and this has a pinch of fertilizer in it. And I'm also going to reuse that sphagnum moss. As far as that philodendron soil, I'm just going to dump that in our compost bin outside, so nothing's going to go to waste. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I have a good update on these plants. Hopefully they do great. And yeah, that's it. Bye guys.